Well, Megan, welcome to week 2 of Message Monday, the second week of Power of the Pointers. And what a first week Power of the Pointers was. We heard or saw the career of Dawn Crow, our head soccer coach, former student athlete at North Carolina and 4-time NCAA Division I women's soccer national champion. Then we moved on and heard from or saw from the 87 women's basketball team. You know, we have 13 team national championships, and to think that in 87, that women's basketball team was the first one ever to capture a national championship. Amazing feat, something that's been replicated that you may know a little bit about in 2002 from a women's basketball standpoint. Then we moved on to Wisdom Wednesday, and you know, I had an opportunity. I always adore the opportunities that I have to sit with Frank O'Brien, Hall of Fame, Conference Hall of Fame, athletic director. And, you know, it's interesting when you put something out there that way, how many people respond back saying, wow, thanks for giving us a chance to hear from Frank. We always love hearing from Frank, from every walk, from every corner of the country. You know, Frank's an icon, and that was pretty neat to see. And then we moved on. Ann Ninneman, our head women's hockey coach, has been part of the women's hockey program for every season of its existence except the first. 19 of the 20 years we've had women's hockey at Stevens Point. And Ann, a second year here, had started as a student athlete and then has moved on from student athlete to being our coach. You know, I was at their 20th reunion, and how neat that is that she knows every single person who's played women's hockey in the history of the program. Pretty neat. And then we finished with some highlights of our first inaugural season of women's wrestling. Crazy year, you know, knowing kind of how it finished with a national champion. We went from an idea. Johnny Johnson walked in my office one afternoon and said, I think we should start women's wrestling. I told him he was crazy. 18 months later, we've got a national champion. So pretty neat week, and we've got more to come. Looking forward to Wisdom Wednesday this week. For those of you that follow Wisdom Wednesday, we'll have the opportunity to speak with 2-time NCAA national champion head coach Jack Bennett. He did what we all wish we could. He won a national championship and walked off the floor. So, you know, I'm excited to hear from Coach Bennett. But today we honor our student athletes on National Student Athlete Day. You know, to the student athletes who are listening, we understand this is a rough period of time for you as a student and as an athlete, and I hope you're making the best of it as a student, which you should be doing. That's what you came to Stevens Point and around the country to do, is to be a great student and help this society with your career and your family. So make sure you're taking advantage of our online opportunities. And, you know, as an athlete, we will play again. We will compete again. I said to our coaches, we will feel what victory feels like again, and we will feel the agonies of defeat. But we will play again, and until that time, please be safe. Today, however, I have a little payback for you, Megan.
Oh, boy.
Last week, Megan put me in a hot seat with some questions that I had to answer. So I've got word association from Megan, our newly hired Associate Athletic Director, although she is a Hall of Famer at UW Stevens Point. So she's not new to Point, just recently back where she belongs. So how this game works is I have a short phrase or a word for you, and you get to respond with what that word means to you. Now, I'd like you to frame most of this from your time as a student athlete.
Okay.
As a member of the 2002 National Championship team. So are you ready?
I don't know, but I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
All right, here we go. Your coaches.
Mentors.
Your teammates.
Lifelong friends.
Practices.
Opportunities.
Bus rides.
Food.
Conference games.
Elite level.
Morning conditioning.
Challenging.
Community service.
Community.
Study halls.
Too much talking.
Student Athlete Advisory Committee.
Leaders.
Pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
Dogs or cats?
Dog.
You better say that here. Eat fish or buy an aquarium?
Eat fish.
What was better? Last question. Winning a state championship or a national championship?
National championship.
Deal. Pretty good, Megan. And I hope that your teammates at Barneveld High School don't listen today, because I'm really hearing a lot of that. For our fans out there that remember Megan as a player, she was a state champion twice at Barneveld High School and national champion at Stevens Point. Epitome of student athletes. And I'm going to let her finish today. I just want to say to our fans, to our student athletes, to our staff, to our community, to Central Wisconsin and Pointers Abroad, we're doing amazing work. You know, today is April 6th, and we still have some trying times to come. Wisconsin's in the middle of a safer at home, and the early data is that we are staying home. Please keep doing that. To our student athletes, be patient. Life will resume, but we rely on each other right now. We need you. We need each other. We will get through this together. We will be stronger. With that being said, Meg, we'd like to have you close us today for our second edition of Message Monday.
Yeah, so just another little tidbit about me. I love celebrating national days. So when I found out today was National Student Athlete Day, it just brings back a flood of memories of my time as a student athlete, and also what our student athletes are going through right now. And, you know, you mentioned SAC in your word associations. And, you know, earlier today I reached out to them as our leaders on campus, and just, you know, athletics provides our student athletes with an opportunity to be resilient. There's probably no better vehicle that has taught them how to deal with COVID-19 and safer at home and being quarantined. And so, you know, I told them that my experience as a collegiate student athlete is what made me want to get into collegiate athletics. So if I wouldn't have had the teammates and the coaches and Frank O'Brien as my athletic director and the experience I had as a pointer, both academically and athletically, I don't think I would have gotten into coaching. And, you know, my junior year, the year we won the national championship, I tore my ACL, and that taught me resiliency. And I sat on those sidelines amongst my coaches, and it was that time, you know, you always have to look at things as an opportunity. It was that time that made me realize I wanted to be a collegiate coach. And so, you know, there's a lesson in here somewhere. It's different for all of our student athletes. But like you said, we will return. We will celebrate successes. We will have the agony of defeat. And so it's just a matter of coming out of this ahead of where our competitors are, staying strong, and just really having that growth mindset and how is this making us better as dogs. So my experience as a pointer made me want to come back and be a pointer after leaving. So I hope all of our student athletes have that same great experience. And that's my number one goal as our associate athletic director, is to make sure our student athletes had half the experience that I was able to have as a pointer. So happy National Student Athlete Day.
See you next Monday.